Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Ira Anthony. I'll be doing another movie review, and this one's going to be on X-Men Dark Phoenix. Like always, if you have not already subscribed, please do so now. If you've been procrastinating, just go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Just like that, it's done. You have subscribed. So it's been a while since I did a movie review, and I've been doing a lot of transitioning to a new career. Also, my living arrangements have also changed. And so I've just been pretty busy, but I do want to get some more content out for you guys. I've also been working on more creative ways to grow the channel with some more comical skits. So be on the lookout for that. But let's get started with the Dark Phoenix review. This will be a spoiler review. I won't go too in depth with some of the intricate plot points, but there are some things that I could spoil that you don't want to know. So if you don't want to hear any spoilers about this movie, go ahead and turn the video off and skip to the end. But I still want my light. So X-Men Dark Phoenix, before this movie came out, I actually watched it on opening night, but due to early screenings and other reviews and the Rotten Tomatoes score of 22%, it definitely lowered my expectations as far as this film's concerned. With X-Men movies, you never really know what you're going to get into. It's varied, and it has its highs and lows. For every X2, you have a last stand. For every Days of Future Past, you have Apocalypse. Considering this is falling behind X-Men Apocalypse, which is probably the most deplorable movie in the franchise, I figured, you know what, if this one's got to be pretty solid. Let's start with some things that I like visually. I like the way that things look cosmetically, as far as the way the scenes were set up. Also, along with the action and some of the special effects, I thought were really cool. The acting was great as well. X-Men has never really had an issue as far as acting is concerned. Michael Fassbender was back as Magneto, and once again, he nailed it. Name a role that he didn't nail. He was in this movie, and it's kind of like Magneto didn't really play, in my opinion, a really integral part into the overall movie. But you can't have an X-Men movie without Magneto. James McAvoy was in here. He was stellar as well. They really expanded Professor X's character because Professor X is very Martin Luther-esque. He's always been perceived as a humble philanthropist, but in this movie, they really expanded that because they show what such a great person, and this is realistic. Like in the history books, when you hear about Martin Luther King, you hear all the great things he's done. But he also had humanly flaws that history kind of erases. But in this movie, it really highlighted that there was a sense of arrogance that was behind this great man of Charles Xavier. And I personally like that take on the character. Jean Grey was played by Sophie Turner. I don't know much about her, the actress as a whole. I know she's from Game of Thrones, which I don't watch that show. I've been planning on getting to it. But I think I like her as Jean Grey. I think she did a well job for what she had. Because this movie felt very much like a Jean Grey origin film. And I think the movie would have really benefited from breaking this up into a two-part movie. To more, expand her character a little bit more, to give her a chance to develop in a more natural manner versus kind of like, forcing the progression of her development. The action sequences were fine. At the end, they definitely improved. There was a fight scene on a train, which I absolutely love. Magneto has some really cool parts. And really, each mutant had a chance to kind of have a moment to shine in the last act of the movie. Now my takeaways. Things I didn't like about this film, and like I alluded to earlier, Jennifer Lawrence's performance was very unmotivated. She kind of seemed like that Walmart cashier that's like, hey man, I just work here. Like that's definitely the vibe that I received from her performance. I've seen her perform better in other roles, even in other X-Men films. But this one, she kind of seemed like she was over it. So that's the only takeaway as far as the acting was concerned. Also, the villains in this film were very forgettable. Like their motivations were pretty dry, and they were like these shape-shifting extraterrestrials, and you only saw them in that form like once in the whole movie. The rest of the part, they kind of took the face of your average humans, and definitely remind you of like the Skrulls from Captain Marvel. And this movie had a lot of parallels with Captain Marvel. So if you've seen Captain Marvel already, you've also seen this movie. The leader of this film was played by Jessica Chastain. She's done a really good job in other projects, and I'm not really going to blame this on her acting. More so, I think it was a more directional problem. They gave her nothing to work with. She played a very stoic character, and like all of her scenes, I just wanted them to be over. They were very stale and monotone. and I really didn't get why she was the leader. She didn't really seem stronger than the other aliens. They were better off casting another actress on the come up versus wasting a great talent like Jessica Chastain. My biggest grievance with this movie is that it lacked focus. It's like the movie had one premise, but then it kind of went in a different direction. And then when the villains got into play, it kind of got oversaturated with plot points. And honestly, the only purpose that these aliens served was Jean Grey needed people to kill. So let's kill these people because, you know what? No one really cares. And, there was a lot of moments in this film where we were supposed to care. And for me, at least, I was like, oh, I forgot they had a thing. I'm supposed to care about that. It was very forced. Very similar to how, like, the Black Widow and the Incredible Hulk kind of had their little love fling. It was just like, that was so forced. Another thing I didn't like was the way, like, there was a scene when Jean Grey and Magneto were using their powers and they're all like... In a lot of, like, superhero movies, you see those type of, like, actions a lot. But it was a very extended scene of just... And like I said earlier, there were a lot of parallels between the Dark Phoenix and Captain Marvel. I mean, starting with the setting, it took place in the 90s with a female lead whose powers were being suppressed by her male counterpart, was a ticking time bomb. And they also had shape-shifting villains, just like the Skrulls. So, like I said, if you've seen Captain Marvel, you've also seen Dark Phoenix. Now let's get into the ranking. I'm going to give X-Men Dark Phoenix 6 out of 10, which is an all-star rating. Now, I gave it that score because overall, I thought it was still a very satisfying film. If you're not a person that goes to see every movie, then you might want to stay home from this one. Wait till it comes out on Blu-ray, DVD, whatever medium you may watch movies from. But if you're a person that watches movies pretty frequently, I don't think you'll waste your money by watching this film. When it comes to anything, especially with films, I feel like nothing is more contagious than negative reviews. And unfortunately, I feel that this movie was beleaguered with negative remarks that were really undeserved. I thought it was, like I said, I thought it was overall a pretty good movie. It wasn't great, but I thought it was worth the watch. But anyways, let me know what you guys think. As always, please subscribe. Give me a thumbs up if you thought that my video was cool or you thought it was informative. And let me know what you guys thought about the movie. Was it great? Did you love it? Did you hate it? And how do you guys feel about X-Men transition to the Marvel film? I would love to see James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender recasted, but I know that's not going to happen. But guys, stay tuned, and I appreciate you guys for watching the channel.